Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it different? It's like you're getting ready for a game.
It is.
When you put these on. It's like I'm ready for a game.
It's the real deal.
It's the real deal, yeah. It's like, okay, we're here. We're going to talk.
So official.
Right, exactly. I feel official. I feel important. We got our headphones on.
Yeah.
We got some amazing, beautiful women and guests here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
Thanks.
and Adina and Brandy. And we're going to talk about dating today.
Right.
Oh my goodness, dating. So let's talk about it. So first, a little bit about you two guys or gals. How's the dating scene going for you? First, let's give a little intro about Brandy, and then we'll move over to Adina, and then we'll get on to
Good plan,
some
Brandy.
good questions.
Right, let's go. I am Brandy, single for a little over a year.
Congratulations.
Right. Yeah. Just kind of started to get back into the dating world. It is very different.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, but I am gonna be 44 at the end of December. So
Oh my
soon.
goodness.
I've got an adult child who is in college and doing wonderful. And so, yeah, life is different for me. I'm a new business owner and just kind of starting to hit the ground running.
Yeah. And Brandy from Coastal Fitness
Yes.
Training.
right.
Yes.
Right.
Located in Gulf Breeze, Florida.
Yes.
Awesome.
Come see us.
Well, thank you, friend. We appreciate you being here, sharing your knowledge, your experience, your wisdom, and thank you. We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. It's always fun. And Adina. So I've known Adina for, I think, since I've been here 4 years. Now let's hear about Adina.
Well, I've been here for 5 years. I am not single. I'm in a relationship now for about a year.
Congratulations.
A year and a half. Thank you. I do have a son too. He's 15. He's been dating too. Surprisingly.
Really?
Yeah,
Can you
for a
imagine what
15-year-old,
that's
it's
like?
kinda-
Right?
Yeah, it's
Ooh,
funny.
maybe that's it. Maybe we
The
should get dating
stories are
tips from our
very
children.
funny.
Oh, my
gosh.
God. Dating at 15. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah. I have also a couple of businesses myself. So I'm very busy with those and my son and my fitness, venture and all that. So yeah, we've known each other for a while.
Yeah. So Brandy and Adina in your 40s.
Yes.
Brandy's single. Adina was single. She's got a relationship for a year now. And holy cow, dating in today's world is different.
It
I mean,
is,
it's bananas.
It is.
It is crazy bananas.
I think it was difficult in the past too. I don't know. I think times were a little bit different, but it's always been difficult.
Right.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it just depends on what you want and what your expectations are.
Yeah,
And how
for sure.
high your bar is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely where you are in your personal life
Yeah.
and how you navigate it.
So let's get into it. Like, I got to hear I'm curious to see what women think, especially to sophisticated middle-aged women, who knows what they're looking for. So what are first let's start off with the good stuff. What are some green flags that you guys see in men? Or what do you look for in men in today's crazy society that is Tinder?
Strong in their faith.
Okay.
I really feel that's important to me.
Got it.
And it's not that easy to come by. People can say they are, but do they walk that? And I feel like what more that I look for is I want you to walk in that and not talk in it as much. And then being, settled with their lives and where they are.
Sure. So let's dissect that a little bit. Strong in their faith. What does that mean to you?
That they believe in a higher, mine is God. They
Sure.
believe in God.
Gotcha.
And they have that relationship, and they build on that, and they learn to be loved by Him, so that they can love themselves to be able to love others. So I feel like that just is very important to me in this era of my life, where in the past I haven't made that such a priority. So me myself I have become a better person, I believe.
Sure, of course.
Because of my walk in faith. And so where I'm at, I'm looking for somebody to, walking in that as well,
Right.
and growing in that and continue to grow.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's in down in the South. That faith is a big thing.
It is.
It is a big thing. So someone who's strong in their faith has strong morals, values.
Absolutely. And values themselves as well. They're taking care of themselves. You can't take care of other people if you can't take care of yourself.
Right.
So I feel like that is just, it all kind of just, leads into that, just being that, person where you're good where you're at.
Right. And I think a lot of us get caught in that trap too sometimes, that we'll find somebody and then try to help them.
Yes.
And they're just not ready. I mean, they're just not ready.
And I'm a helper. And so that's where I have really had to start to step back and learn that and how to navigate that and what it looks like for me. So that, I don't fall into, I don't want to be someone's mother. I want to be someone's best friend and have fun in life together and grow together and set goals together.
Right. Right, exactly. You don't want that guy that you have to constantly be picking up after and, hey, pick up your laundry and do your dishes and stuff like that, right?
That's right. We do it together.
Or pay your bills.
It's funny. I think you just described my previous relationship.
Right. Isn't it weird how when you hear that, you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Do you really want to open that Pandora's box?
Right? Yeah. And that's a big one, right? Because you guys we all are in our middle ages. We want someone who's financially secure, right? I mean, that's a big piece of it. Like if you don't have your stuff together by the age of 40, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That is a
time is
problem. Time is ticking. Yes. Yeah, no doubt about it. So, okay, so let's backtrack. So faith is a big thing for you, somebody who's doing the work, and whatever that means to you. Yeah, and it doesn't really put you like on a pedestal. You're just like, hey, look, I know who I am. I know what I believe, my belief systems, my worldview, all those other good stuff. And I just want somebody who's secure, confident, and who's financially stable, right? I mean, that's really what it boils down to. And somebody who's rational, who's not going to flip out at you and throw things when things don't go right.
Their way.
I mean, which is baffling to me. I'll be honest, I have never been involved in a domestic violence, abusive relationship. I could but from my understanding, it's very, it happens often.
Well, that takes a lot of forms, right? Yeah. It's not only physical abuse; it's like it's verbal abuse.
Absolutely,
it's emotional abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the previous relationship that I was in, it was more emotional abuse because the things that I have experienced with my previous partner, I have never experienced them in my entire life with anybody else.
Wow.
So for me, right now, I'm traumatized by those situations that I've been in. So. So, when we're young, we fall in love, we have our initial partners, right? We're more lenient. We don't know what we want. So we kind of go on with the day and we accept the partner the way they are.
Sure.
Then you get married, you have kids, your priorities change. And then you start realizing that what you want is not necessarily what your partner wants.
Right.
That's why my ex-husband and I split up because we got together young. We didn't date, and that was a big deal. We did not date. We just rushed into the relationship. We rushed into the marriage because he got transferred for his work, and we wanted to be together. And we didn't get to know each other, right? Yeah. And years later, we found out that we were not. We had some things in common, but not enough to keep us together. So we took different paths.
Sure. Yeah, and I think I've read somewhere that every 5 years you grow as a person. Not roughly, right? You're constantly growing, but every 5 years you should be a changed, evolved, better person, better version of yourself. Yes. And I think that a lot of couples get into this where they're so busy with the chaotic American life that initially they're here, and then they just start to. And
it happens a lot.
It happens, and next thing you know, they're not talking anymore, or barely talking to each other, and they're just roommates.
Yeah. Yes.
And I feel like when you're in a longer relationship with someone, when you get out of it, you still crave that partnership.
For sure.
And the next person that you meet, you think if you're in love with them, right? And no matter how damaged they are, you just want to fix them, and you think that it's gonna get better. It never does. Right. So I've learned a lot from my relationships, and I know what I want right now.
Yeah.
And the more relationships I've had, which were in a lot serious ones after my divorce, but I've learned that I need to take care of myself first before I could be happy
Right.
in a relationship with someone else.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
And every partner has been so different. Like I've learned so many things that I want or I don't want from each of my relationships.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I feel like that's important too. Learning from that. I mean, it's learning from your experiences. You can't change it, but you can change going forward, and that's a big one too.
So now my standards are a little bit higher because I don't want to be like you said, his mother.
Right. Yeah,
like I want to
exactly.
have an equal partner.
Yeah.
That is reliable for me. Reliable is number one. Financially stable, emotionally stable, right? And wants to have a future together.
Yes.
Right.
Puts in the work to build our relationship and our life together. You know, so that means a lot of things. That means to be financially responsible. That means to be, like I said, emotionally stable. Like it means a lot of things. So it just kind of depends on each person what's important for them.
Right.
I know what's important for me, so I don't want to go back into that hole back and try to save someone.
And like
else,
you said,
because
it's hard because you want to sometimes, and you gotta.
You think that you're gonna change your partner by doing that, and you never will. They need to be able to help themselves,
Right.
Because otherwise, I mean, an adult man at 45, you know, to be in jail for
That's not good.
that's not good.
Right.
That's not good. That's
Right.
not good. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. So, boundaries are important.
Boundaries are important.
And I think, really, when we're young, we don't know what we're looking for. We don't even know. I don't know about you
It's
guys,
a
but
learning experience, I would say, until
Right.
30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
Late 30s.
right.
So true.
And then like a lot of us were raised in not healthy environments. So
You didn't have that.
I didn't have a good,
either.
healthy relationship to, my mom and dad were like, yep, that's exactly what I want. That's not, I wasn't raised like that. So I had
Me
to
neither.
change and like, we learn from your parents and what you experience with them, and then what to do and what not to do.
Right. How
And
to
you're
be
like,
and how not to be.
how to be and how not to be. You're like, oh, I won't do that to my spouse.
Yes. Yeah.
But we're all flawed creatures, and we're all gonna. I always tell everyone that we're always gonna say dumb shit, do dumb shit, and the thing is, just own it and apologize.
That's right.
Just own it and apologize. I mean, truth and honesty saves everything.
Absolutely.
And communication is so
Communication
important.
is number one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, don't let the biggest thing that I have learned from my last relationship is don't let things because men will just take it and be quiet. Take it and be quiet. And next thing you know, you're at level 10. It builds up and then you finally blow up. And then for me, blowing up would be silence. Guess what? Now
Passive
I'm done.
aggressive.
Shutting down.
Now, exactly, right? I'm just like, because I don't feel seen, I don't feel heard, I don't feel valued, blah,
give
blah, blah.
up,
So now,
basically.
I'm just going to go inside and good luck.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's, that's
So
kind
true.
of, it's kind of
Our
where it goes.
self-defense mechanism.
Yeah. And the things are too, I think once you go through those life experiences and relationships, then you're able to, once you step away, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I was doing this. This is not healthy. I was not supporting this relationship. I mean, so you got to own your own shit.
Oh yeah.
You got to own your own shit. You got to kind of course correct, and then you got to realize, okay, this is what I'm not looking for. I'm not looking for this X, Y, Z, whatever it is.
It's kind of hard though when you're in a relationship to make those changes right off the bat, right?
100%.
You're stuck, you're emotionally involved.
Yeah.
When you get out of it and time goes by a little bit, then you see the things that you've done wrong or the things that, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was in this situation.
Right.
Right.
But
Right.
it just, from my experience, like those are the things I've learned after I left the relationships that I don't want to repeat.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would be a big one? What's a big lesson? Like what would be, what's the biggest red flag for you? If you were out now and you're single, what's the first red flag for you?
So I am not a big drinker, and I think you and I spoke about this before. And as soon as I go out with someone that has a few drinks and slightly can control themselves, I am out. Like alcohol for
It's
me,
unattractive.
and also drugs. Like drugs and alcohol for me are number one.
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
And I thought, which my mom corrected me, I thought that my dad has some alcohol issues, but she was like, no, your dad never drank. And my whole life, I thought that came last time from my dad, right? And she's like, no, your dad never had any. We had other problems, but alcohol and drugs were never a thing. So someone told me, it's like, maybe in your previous life, you were so independent and everybody around you were either drug abusers or alcohol abusers that you came back and, being very independent. And that's something that kind of, it's a trigger for me.
Yeah, understand. Thank you.
That's my number one.
And that's a big one. I mean, if you,
if I were drinking and going out and partying, I probably wouldn't care. But I am just not wired that way. My body can take it. I just don't like it. It's unattractive to me. I just don't want to deal with it.
I get it.
And I don't want my son to see it or be exposed to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think the stats for alcohol, I want to say it was really high for domestic abuse. Alcohol always seemed to be involved. And not to shun alcohol. I mean, to each his own. Yeah, I mean, you want to drink, but the data doesn't lie.
No.
Yeah.
There is zero good about alcohol. Nothing good about it.
I agree.
It fuels the ego. Yeah. And the ego, if you don't have control of the ego, if you haven't been able to integrate it and be able to control those impulses, it's game over. Like if you can't control your ego, if you have no control of your emotions, you're already, and then you're going to throw alcohol into the mix. Yeah, that's not going to be good. So.
I don't have an addictive behavior, so that's
yes, you
why
do.
From me. Maybe it's just to fitness.
It's working out. We know.
That's
so
our
true.
addictive behavior.
Yes,
I want to work out.
Maybe I should take that back.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you guys want to go out tonight? Yeah. You guys want to do some burpees? What do you guys want to do?
I just did some pull-ups.
I know. She came over and did some pull-ups in the garage already. I'm just like, holy smokes, man. That's the first person who's come in my house and done some pull-ups.
I did them this morning, part of our workout.
Oh, got you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. I haven't worked out yet, so I got to work out later after I eat my eggs and stuff. So, okay, so red flag for you would be drugs, alcohol, no bueno. Thank you for, and I think, again, kudos to you for knowing what you want, man. Doesn't matter. Like, if this works for you, be you.
Yeah, exactly.
Find your dude.
It works for some and doesn't work for others. Just
I get
work
it.
For me.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. All right, Brandy, what's a big red flag for you besides all guys?
No, mine is just not being, settled in their life, still.
Ooh, I like that. So you don't want somebody who wants to Netflix and chill.
Well, yeah, that's fine. But I want somebody that's in their own home Netflix and chilling, not bouncing around, still, needing someone because I'm a helper. So like somebody needs something, I'm going to dive in. Well, that's not necessarily the relationship that I need. Like, I'll help anybody that needs help and won't, flinch. But as far as somebody I want to spend the rest of my life with, they need to be settled where they are and in their life and what they're doing and confident with, themselves and not needing someone to make their life better. They want to create a good life together with someone because what they have and what I have will blend and grow and blossom. So I feel like that's where, again, the same lines, I'm not a big drinker. I have been in my past and I've learned that lesson. So I feel like that's important to me, somebody that, has that control and can, enjoy life without those things and is active and just, so red flag would be somebody who's just a bum.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest, which I know that's like pretty broad and falls, but somebody that isn't active, doesn't like, to take care of themselves, physically and,
for sure.
That just doesn't like to do much, but sit at home. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. That's a good blend because I do probably need to sit at home a lot, not a lot, but more than what I do now.
Yeah.
Just to get that downtime, because I'm a go-getter and go always on the go. But I just need to find someone that is where they are in their life and happy with where they are in their life career-wise,
right?
Especially, and again, with themselves, they love themselves.
Gotcha.
So that they know how to love you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. Yeah, they know themselves. They're secure.
No
they're
instant gratification. They're not.
Right.
Don't need those crazy things for instant gratification.
They don't need the. So like, okay, let me see if I can phrase this then. So, essentially someone who's not codependent, right? That is like, okay, I got to make sure that I talk to Brandy 17,000 times today.
And
Somebody who's just like,
Brandon
hey,
needs to check in every place she goes to.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That is crazy. There are some relationships like that.
I was just in one of those.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow. I have an acquaintance who was being tracked. They were tracking each other.
Well, there are couples that, you use the 360 app for the kids and everybody.
Right.
And just, if you travel a lot, it makes sense to kind of see where they're at.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
But not, like, to me, taking it to the extreme is like, let me know when you get there. Let me know when you leave.
Exactly.
Or you get random messages like, where you at? What are you doing?
I'm not your child.
right?
Like, just let me do my thing.
Yeah. You'll get this
I've been
text.
self-sufficient 5 years before we met. Like, I don't need to have a parent right now.
Yeah, it's like totally babysitting and to a certain extent. Well, I think what it is, it's an insecurity in them.
That's what I learned.
It's an insecurity. So
because for me, I was like, what am I doing wrong?
Nothing.
And it wasn't. You're exactly right.
Them.
And it took me a while to figure that out.
Yeah, man.
It really
it's
did.
them. Yeah. So if you got somebody who's hovering over you and wants you to check in every morning and every few hours, that is an insecurity within that person. They need to sit with themselves and realize that everything that they're looking for is within.
But you know what they say in a relationship, one gives more than another, right?
Sure, I think that's fair.
Yeah, so I've been in a relationship when I was overly attracted or in love with a person and they were like, a barrier, a wall just got up. And I've been the opposite side.
Oh, interesting.
Where I wanted to check in, or I wanted my partner to check in with me.
I get that. Because you love your partner. They're your friend. They're your person.
But it has to be a limit and it has to be a boundary. Like it has to be to a certain point where it doesn't cross the line.
There's definitely a healthy boundary with that. There absolutely
right.
is.
Yeah.
It's. I think the boundary would be like, hey, I noticed you're in aisle 7 at Publix, and I don't. I'm tracking you on 360. I know you're on aisle 7 in Publix, baby. And you need to get what are you doing there in aisle 7? I mean, that's bananas.
And there's also relationships that from friends that I've heard that they've been cheated on. So then, their wives' husbands, they said they were gonna go on
and that's a good communication piece, though. Like you have to express that to them and say, "Hey, look, I've been in this experience. I've had this, and this is where I'm coming from with it." And then that other person understands, okay, this is why they're doing that.
And that's why that insecurity is there, right? So if you are cheated in a previous relationship, you're always gonna have that inside of you.
The luggage,
right? So it takes time to build that trust with the present person.
Sure.
And you're trying all these things to be controlling, but that's where the communication comes into place, and you both have to understand each other and come to a middle, basically. One that doesn't bother me for having to check in every 5 minutes, and then for him to
feel
be secure and confident, and I'm not going out and cheat on him.
Right. And I think Brandy hit the nail on the head. That's one of the conversations you have when you first meet somebody like, hey, this is what's happened to me. I'm carrying this luggage, this baggage around. I'm working on it. It's an insecurity. But this is, I'm just letting you, man. It's like, hey, this is what I've been through, man. This guy did this to me, or this
trauma. It's traumatic for some people, right?
And you got to also understand it. If it just because it's not important to you or it seems not an issue to you doesn't necessarily mean it isn't for others. And it's okay. Like you have to meet them. You have to understand
That's
them.
what it is. Because if it's important for them and if it's a trauma for them, then you're together. You have to understand that and work with them to a certain degree, right?
Yeah.
You can't just dismiss,
right? Because it doesn't bother you, so it shouldn't bother you. That doesn't work that way,
right? Yeah. So let me give you guys. So I love all of that, and I agree with all of that. But let me give you guys. Here's what the men would say regarding that topic.
Silence.
So this is the stereotypical man response, right? So in the men's circle, we talk about not sharing everything because when men have placed themselves in positions of vulnerability in the past, it has been used against them.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
The woman now feels that, oh, my man's crying. He's not a man. He's not manly enough for me, right? All because the women have asked for my man to get to know me, to be vulnerable with me, and to build this friendship and have a communication, and then the men will do that. They'll be vulnerable, and then a year later, they're getting the boot. Yeah, they're giving the boot because because now that I've been vulnerable and I show you my softer side, some women believe that, wow, that's my man. My men don't cry, or I need one of those men, right? And so that's what some of the men who are healthy, who have done work on themselves, who would say, okay, I get all that. I'm living that. But there is a little bit of concern sharing that with my partner, because I don't want her to think I'm less of a man if I be vulnerable and show my softer side, show my feminine side, because then it's used against me. So that's the one thing. And it's not that it's just a concern that men have, right? It's like, holy smokes, I really like this girl and I want her to get to know me better, but man, I hope she doesn't use this against me because, my man cried now or whatever. So.
I find that endearing, actually, and like to find that sensitive side in a man.
And I think, again, it goes back to having that conversation. If a person I love told me that, I think it would be like an eye-opener to me. Because, again, coming from a men, we don't think that way. So you have to open our eyes to that, just like we have to do the same thing and let you guys in and understand each other. Because me personally, if I love and I don't want to hurt anyone. So if you have that conversation with me, that's going to stick with me, and I don't want to, I don't want that to happen to you.
Right. Gotcha.
I don't want you to feel that way.
Sure.
So I think maybe that's a good conversation to have too. That for especially us women now, that to think about that, say, okay, well maybe they're not opening up and being vulnerable because of that. So now let's have that conversation.
Yeah, I just think over the last few years, there's been such a rush against men.
Sure.
And I mean, let's just be honest. Let's just be fair, right? It's like, oh, the masculinity and this and muscles and gym, be quiet and like. So I feel that has shunned men in some ways, specifically in the dating circle. And there is a lot of discussion about where are all the good men at, right?
Yeah.
Where are the men?
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
The other way around too. I think
you got what you created. You got what you created.
It's true.
I think there's men out there that also wonder where are all the women.
Yeah, man.
I hear it from me, like, where are all the women?
Where's the women at? Yeah. Well, I'm unique. So, and it takes a person I'm just not your normal dude. So I think it would take a while but you'll know, like when you meet that person, you'll know.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You always do.
Yeah, you'll definitely meet that person when you know it. And you feel I feel the romantic, the attraction, but not just the physical, but the emotional, right? And for men, it's up here. Like for me, it's up here. I want to know what's up here.
Right.
It's not, I love that you're beautiful and you're sexy and all these other things, but up here is what really matters, right?
So I was listening to a podcast a couple of days ago talking about love and finding love, and people always complain how hard the dating scene is, like you're in New York City or California or Navarre, Florida. And this guy, I forgot who he was. Anyway, he was talking about if men in prison can find love. Right?
So true.
You can definitely find love. You just have to be open for it. And when you least expect it, at least in my experience, when I least expected it, that's when it came into my life.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
so
100%.
I think we have a lot going on for ourselves.
I know myself personally, I'm get to that point where like, okay, like I've got to, if I'm going to meet somebody, I've got to get out there. I don't hang out at bars. I don't, I have my circle. Like, what do I do? So then, okay, let's do the dating app. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, dating apps are horrible.
You know what I'm saying? But I also listen to a lot of, like I said, I got a lot of religious things that I listen to. And one was like, God's creating that person for you right now. And they have to go through those experiences to get to be able to be in the relationship with you. They have to learn and get to where they need to be for you. And so I, just feel like that, that's it's in God's hand, that he's putting that person that needs to be with me through what they need to be through in life so that we can build our life together.
It's beautiful. Yeah, Good job, Brandy. That's nice
There's
stuff.
There's a person for us out there for each of us.
Yes.
Sooner or later they show up.
And
You just have to be, you can't, to me, I feel like you can't just go on through life and say, I'm never gonna meet love. I'm never all the negative, add all the negative to all your sentences. I'm never gonna go there. I'm never gonna make $1 million. I'm never. You can't think that way. Like it just closes down all your channels.
Yeah.
Right? Like your energy flows it's
Yeah.
gonna flow in the wrong direction
Right.
if you adopt that philosophy.
Yes.
Right.
So you have to be always open and always, talk in a positive way. Like the love of my life is there looking for me right now.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure.
And
Yeah.
you never know. You go to put gas in your car.
Right.
And he just runs out of his car to help you.
That's so romantic. That's
Or
so
you're shopping
romantic.
the outskirts of the grocery store at the same time.
Yes, right?
I'm gonna follow this guy. He's just getting protein. He's putting protein in his
fruit.
car and fruit and veggies. Right? Let me see if he has a no bull shirt on.
Oh my God. That would be like the ideal.
I was listening to like the health and fitness like pickup line, and it was like if you go to the grocery and they buy your meal prep food.
Ah, yeah. Isn't that that's kind of a great first indicator when if you find someone who's, you're like attracted, you notice there's not a ring, and then you follow them around the grocery store, like, oh, let's see what they put in their car.
We could do this.
Oh, she's got processed food. She's out of here. Yeah. No cereal for me. No, thank you. So let's talk about the dating apps. I think you're right, man. So our age, we're in our 40s, me 50, right? So I agree with you. It's like, where the hell do you meet people if you're not on the dating apps are garbage? I mean, I'll be honest. The only one I've really been on has been Tinder, and I haven't had a lot of success. No one says anything to me.
Yeah.
So
I made myself do the Facebook one for 6 weeks. Yeah.
tell your story about that. Let's hear your story. I want to hear it.
Well, let's see. I started it. I had like this. They send you those things that say like, "Hey, someone's matched," and so they get you. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try it. It's free. I've never done it. Let's go. All right. So I put one up there. I get out there, and you get all of these people, all of
Serial
it.
killers.
Yeah, or babies. Like I want to find their mom and talk to them because this is I know. And then just not anyone wanting anything long term. They want pictures. They want Snapchats. They want things that I don't agree with. I'm not morally, that's not what I do morally. And so that was very shocking to me that they didn't want to get to know you. They just wanted to see you. And the friends with benefits. I'm like, very open about that. And I'm like, sorry, but my faith and heart can't do that. Like, it's not for me. Yeah. And that's literally like no strings attached. Let's just, you and I and
see ya.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's absolutely not what I'm looking for. Yeah. Absolutely not what I'm looking for.
Well, what he's telling you, he's going to tell 20 other women.
Sure.
Right? That's why the dating apps are so bad. At the beginning, when they started, when they were new, people, I guess it was a fun thing to do.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just so redundant. Like you match with all these people and all these people match with other people. And it takes a little while to get to know each other and date, right? You date a few people until you find your person. But you have the same conversation with every woman.
Yes.
You have the same conversation with every
You're just
dude.
going to copy and paste your reply to all of them.
Their photos are 10 years, 20 years old. They don't look the same.
Yeah.
Their values, our values are not the same. So, I mean, for me, the apps did not last long, honestly. Yeah. But I was thinking, like, you're a religious person. Maybe the church would be a good spot for you.
And I do, and we've talked about that actually. The church that I attend is getting groups together, small groups together. And one being that we would like to see is a single small group.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you have things in common. Morals and values. I mean, of course, you have to
that's a
peel
big one
back
for you.
You
the
do.
onion a little bit with people.
Absolutely.
Everybody's different. I mean, here's the thing, man. We're all got our strange quirks. Every one of us.
Absolutely.
Every single one of us has our strange quirks. At some point, your partner is going to annoy you. It's just life.
Inevitable.
It's inevitable, and it's just part of it. But okay, so back to the dating app. So you're getting DM'd left and right from youngsters, 20-year-olds.
Everything.
You don't
They
have
want,
filters?
it's nudie magazine day. They want nudie magazine
do you
day.
have Snapchat? What's that app? Like, you have this app? You have that app? No.
Is that what it is?
That's
It's
the
all
key.
those?
Yeah.
I have to be honest, man. I bet you your guys' when you were single, your guys' DMs have to be flooded. Like, because guys are just dudes. Dudes will just throw. I mean, and again, society has changed. They're just throwing. Which girl can I hook up with tonight?
Yeah. And like some like don't even. They're just like, come to my house. I'm like, I don't even know you.
I believe it.
What?
I believe it.
But that's why it's nice when you had Bumble or the apps.
I've never done any of those, so I don't even know what those are about.
Yeah, so I did Bumble when Bumble. I don't know if Bumble is still a thing, but there's a couple of apps that the women reach out because men are so aggressive.
Oh, so
you have to reach out to them, and that's how you start a conversation. So then you don't have 50 weirdos messaging you.
Yeah. So, but let me ask though. Let me ask a question. So your DMs are just flooded, right? I'm asking.
Yes.
Oh, really? Both of you.
Like Match.com was horrible for me.
I completely believe it. I had another woman tell me, she's like, dude, I get messaged this nonstop. And I'm just like, really? I don't get anything. I got a pretty picture up. So.
I mean, I don't even feel flattered anymore.
Right? Well,
like I feel annoyed.
Hey, honey.
I'd rather them just come up to me in public. And be like,
of course.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
You know, and don't message me. Like you just, I don't know. It's. I don't think they're as brave. They're obviously. I know they're not as brave.
Yeah.
And face to face as they are.
But I think for us, like we work out, right? Like I go to the gym. That's where I met my boyfriend now.
Okay.
Before that, the one before was in Seattle. Just out of nowhere, I had broken up with the previous boyfriend. And I went out with a girlfriend and we met downstairs in a bar. So that never happened to me before. It was very organic. But nothing through the app, really. Like nobody healthy that I've met through the app.
That's a good point. Yeah. I see. Yeah.
So because when you have the app, you're always going to look for the next best thing. Always. That's why I refuse to do the apps. I just would rather wait.
It'll just be.
And see
I promised myself 6 weeks and 6 weeks in an hour and I deleted it.
Yeah. And for me, like for my business, I go to networking events. I go to all kinds of events. Like there's potential out there if I wanted to meet someone.
Right.
I would probably, if I was open-minded to meet someone, I mean, it's open. Like I could.
Right.
You know, and stay away from the app. And I'm sure that half those people at all those, meetings and events, they're on the dating apps.
Oh yeah,
right.
You could probably pull it up and you'd be like, oh, there's somebody near you.
So it's funny that it wasn't in person, but I said I deleted my 6 weeks in an hour, deleted my Facebook one, and literally a few days ago I had a guy message me, and we had some mutual friends via Facebook, and he was like, hey, I think I know you. And I was like, oh, okay, like how, who knows, who's your friends, this and that. And we had, like I said, we had some mutual friends. I was like, oh, maybe it's from that. He was like, oh, no, weren't you on the dating app? Weren't you on Facebook dating? And I was like, yeah, but I'm not any longer. Not any longer, right.
Well, especially in Navarre, because it's so small here. People are like, oh, I know you. I know that face somewhere.
Right.
That's hilarious.
And it could be, with the gym and everything, it could be. But this was, so. Again, very young person.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about the youngsters. Well, actually, two things. So the men being aggressive on apps, that totally makes sense. I will say, since I have been dating, women are far more aggressive than I ever remember. Again, it's been a long time since I've been single.
I think on both sides it's probably aggressive.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that the society in general, how things have changed, and the speed, the fact that I can swipe left or right and then find a new person within seconds, if even that. And but I would definitely say that I was almost shocked at how forward the women can be and somewhat aggressive. I'm just saying.
Well, that's my thought. So getting these messages and the requests and things that they're asking, I'm like, oh, obviously women are doing this.
Right.
Because otherwise they're not going to be asking for this stuff, right?
Yep.
So then I'm thinking, and I told him, we had a conversation the other day, and I was like, I run a gym for women, and I know that I've got single women, I've got young, old, all ages, and I want to be a leader. I don't want them doing those things. If that's what even if they have, that's fine. Let's stop and move forward and change, because it's just not healthy. Like that just, takes part of your soul. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
doing things like that, and or
Right.
feeling like that's what you need to do
Right.
to get to here, get
Validation.
to that. Yes,
They're seeking
yes. I want them
validation.
to feel inside that I'm more than this. I'm more than that. And so,
Right.
you know, one, that's just not who I am. And two, you know, that's not the leader I want to be either. That's not you know, I don't have daughters. I just have a son, but still, same thing. So they have to be getting these responses from these requests. And that's what is mind-blowing to me too, that there's a lot or some that are out there doing these things. And it's like, you're so much more than that. You're so much more than that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of women have low self-esteem, so they just think that if they're being aggressive or going after a guy, they're gonna
And get validation for 30
Yeah,
seconds is worth
exactly.
none.
Yeah.
Worth more than not having any.
Yeah, and I talked to a couple youngsters. They helped me put this room together. Now they're like 19 and 20, and I know them pretty well. And they were giving me the skinny on like just the young ladies.
boys.
Yeah, young boys, and they were talking to me about just the women in general that they're seeing and dating. I was shocked
Yes.
at what they told me. Shocked.
I don't know.
I would
about
say
you guys,
this,
but-
that, you know, there is a certain aura that comes with being a woman and a certain mystique that comes with being a woman. And saving yourself and preserving yourself and honoring yourself, there's a lot of value in that.
Yes.
And I think as society as a whole, we have shifted to this instant gratification, and it has gone all the way down to the youngsters. And according to the young folks that I spoke with, that you know there's not much thought or consideration, at least in the circle that they're in, to women or girls sleeping with, and it goes both ways. Sure. Not men, women, but traditionally men have always been more stereotypically known for getting around, being around, right?
Right.
Women not necessarily so. According to these young men, that has shifted. That thought process, that mindset has shifted. So it's almost like you've got a young adolescent male who's like, I am out to experience everything. And that has shifted to the women, right? So, and I will say this, the women are more aggressive today than I ever remember. I will say this.
Well,
yeah, I was definitely say that.
A woman that has been married for 10, 15 years, right?
Right.
She maybe has not been appreciated, because I
sure.
for sure thought that when I was married to my previous husband, I was not really being appreciated.
Right.
So then they get out of this relationship, right? And what do? They just go and pounce.
Right.
Yeah, they just like, hey man, I'm open for business, baby.
I meet old women, 60 something more years old, that all they do right now is just go around and date and sleep around.
Yeah. Yeah, and good for them, each his own.
right.
I mean,
No,
if that
That's
does
fine.
your thing, no
I
judgment.
just don't
but-
date young men. Like I have filters. I had filters on my apps.
Yeah, what?
Filters, yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody under 44.
Okay, that's perfect. That's a great segment. So let's
Yeah.
talk about that. That goes right. Gosh, you guys are amazing. It goes right into my next question. So, so you're 44.
Yeah, I'll be 44.
You're 40.
5.
What would be, in terms of numbers of years, how young would you date? What would be the youngest that you'd be like, okay, I'm comfortable. I'd date this young, but I wouldn't go any younger than that.
I think for me it would be 40, 41. 40, 41.
40,
but
41.
It has to be like in a very mature state of mind.
Agreed.
Yeah, you're
Agreed.
a very
I can say a
mature
number.
woman.
Yeah.
I can say a number, but it's that maturity.
Yeah.
Like it really, truly is. And yeah, I
like that.
mean,
See
For
that.
me, like just knowing that he's 35,
Right.
it's just a mental
hard.
block
Right.
anyway.
It's true.
Like I cannot
It's true.
accept that. So
Yeah.
I need to know mentally that it's over 40, that he's over 40, and
Yeah.
I don't know, like older than me, not older than my present boyfriend, who's 52 right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. All right. So
I
what do you
they
think,
go
Brandy?
closer to the 40s for sure.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't go any lower than 40? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would
44, no longer than 40.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. What's the thought process behind that?
Again, mine is not so much the number, it is their maturity. You know, it really truly is. Yeah. But like she said, you're like, oh, well, God, that's 12 years younger than I, or 10. You know, like that's that's a big difference.
It's a gap, and you don't see it in the moment, but you're gonna see it in time.
Yeah,
you're
and I
see
feel
it in
like
10 years.
Also dating older, like it's not,
Same
it's different. It is, but it's different. Your thought process, you know, it's kind of like I would probably be more apt to date someone older. Than I would younger.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Dated older.
How old would you guys go?
Oh, gosh,
what's the oldest for you guys? You're 44.
So mine right now is past my limits.
And that's why she's sold. That's why it's working.
Bill, you have been put on notice. Bill's been put on notice. Hopefully Bill doesn't watch the show. Oh my God.
I would have to say they gotta stay in their 50s.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, like low 50s.
Well, I mean, but there's got to be at some point you're like, that's too old.
That's too old.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
There's got to be at some point.
But think about it. Look, if you're, you know, I mean, age. Hopefully, their aging is maturity.
Yeah.
But looks, I mean, heck, they can fix that. Who knows? They might be 70 but look 60. I don't know.
I know, but I think like from what I've seen from my 60 years old, they have been hitting on me. They're just too old.
I can see that.
Mental
for sure. They're slower.
Yeah, because I'm active. I don't feel like I'm 40. We don't feel like we're our age.
You would rock a 60-year-old. There's no way a 60-year-old would be able to keep up with you. There's no way. You'd be like, man, you'd probably kill him. You'd probably, you know what? You should marry him and then you kill him, get his life insurance, and then you'd be good to go.
That's advice from a guy.
That's an investment advice.
Mondo just figured out the rest of my life. He figured it out.
We'll find you a good 60-year-old. He ain't gonna last too long. Trust me. Give him a year. So,
all I gotta do is bring through a workout and he's done, right?
Yeah, there's a couple workouts. He'll be good. He'll be good to go. But I do think there's something on both scales, like the young and the old. For younger, I think. Well, let's talk about this. I dated a woman who was 10 years younger than me, and there was insecurity in me. Because here I am. I mean, she was beautiful. She's 40. She's younger than me, and I'm just like, can I keep up with this girl? Yeah. I'm 50, you know?
Sure.
And then not only, so all of those insecurities come out. And then again, you observe your mind. Mm-hmm. These are mine for me to deal with, not to push off on her. Try to, again, you're human, but we've got to deal with all that. But honestly, that did come up for me. And it took me a little bit of time to mentally rehearse. I'm like, okay, can I do this? Do we know it's a good flow, blah, blah. Physically, we're attracted to each other. Mentally, okay. But it definitely was more challenging than what I thought. Sure. But it was more challenging in terms of not from that perspective, not because of her. It was because of my own insecurities. Mm-hmm. Sure. And I think that's a sign of growth when you can be aware of that. I know that I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety because I'm insecure about the relationship. I'm 10 years older than her, and I had to sit with that. And then for me, the way that I sit with that and the way I do things is breath work or meditation. And then, the way I do things, I might even smoke a little at night and sit with it and then process it and then, be done with it. Mm-hmm. And then that's just how I do things. Yeah. That works for me.
Right.
But it definitely was something I had to sit through. Mm-hmm. But, I think also that 10-year gap mentally, there was definitely, I could tell, like, a difference. Mm-hmm. And not just in the age, but just in life experience in general. Like, you had all this life experience, world experience, traveling around the country, traveling around the world, doing all these different things. And if someone doesn't have that experience, well, they don't have all of that life experience that is needed, just to help you grow and mature a little bit, just to be a better person. Yeah. I think all that's needed. So.
Yeah, I don't know. 10 years, 15 years older is definitely, it will take a token on you sooner than later because, in 10 years, they might fall and break a leg.
The whole dynamic changes.
The whole dynamic changes. They're not going to be as active.
Right. Exactly.
They can navigate their technology very well.
You're really back to that taking care of role.
Exactly.
So you have to be ready for that too. That's something you have to think about.
Yeah, I think as soon as like an older person, if your person's older and he breaks a hip, you gotta cash out because that's the sign right there of broken. You're like, I gotta go.
They could be older, but they could be mentally younger, right?
Oh, yeah.
But
For
not
sure.
everybody is the same. Like
Right.
60-year-old sometimes is older than 60 or
Right.
60, but not a lot of people are younger because not a lot of people take care of their bodies the
Right.
way we
Yes.
do.
Yes,
Right?
you're right.
So
And that matters, man. I had a great conversation. I'm always driving around Navarre just talking to people. I was at Aldi's about 3 weeks ago, and there was this older gentleman there with who I thought was his granddaughter. And I was like, "Oh, your granddaughter's beautiful." And he goes, "Well, that's my daughter." And he started laughing. Oh, and I was like, "Oh my God, sir, how old are you?" he goes, "I'm 56. I'm like, "Brother, you look old for 56. That's what I told him. And he started laughing and cracking up. It was great. But yeah, I mean, what you do, how you take care of yourself. I mean,
Your lifestyle definitely
yeah, dude. I mean,
dictates how you are.
this dude was literally 5.5 years older than me. And if you put us next to each other, you would think that
Yes.
he's my dad.
Well, we talked
Yeah.
about people back home, and like,
Yeah.
they look a lot older than we do,
Yes.
or because they
For
don't, their
sure.
lifestyles,
Yes.
they're not taking care of themselves, and they do. We're the same age, but we look like we are 10 or 15 years different.
Absolutely, man.
Same
Yeah.
thing with my friends from college, my colleagues from college. Everybody smokes in Romania, right? I mean, that's like an automatic 10 years on top of your age.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
it's different. I
That-
can say a lot about my my college.
Yeah,
and
so
my
they're
high
still
school.
big smokers over there in Europe. That's still
they
still a
are.
big thing, huh?
They changed it to the outside. You can smoke outside, not inside the restaurants and clubs anymore,
Gotcha.
because there have been some incidences, but so they're slowly banning it, but you can keep them away from smoking outside.
Yeah, gotcha. Those Europeans.
Yeah. And I went to Italy with my mom this summer, and she was smoking, right? And I thought that I was gonna want to smoke a cigarette with her because every time I go back
Yeah.
home, I crave it. I didn't have any desire to.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I'm over that.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And nicotine's not necessarily bad in small doses.
Yeah.
Dr. Andrew Huberman, who's a neuroscientist, will tell you that nicotine is very valuable in small doses for creativity. So what he does is I actually got this from him, is he'll take the Nicorette gum and he'll bite half of it and then chew that half and then the other half sometime in the week. And that's his nicotine kick. And I will tell you, I've never smoked my entire life. Well, just marijuana. But I don't care for nicotine at all. And it's I'm very sensitive to it. And when you do take that little piece of Nicorette, you're just like, wow.
Really?
This,
You feel the
yeah.
difference?
Oh, yeah. Not only do you, I mean, it's just like, it's no different than caffeine. Caffeine is the same kind of process, except for caffeine just, it interrupts the adenosine receptors. That's what caffeine does. But nicotine it's shunned, but there are some medical benefits for it. But the thing is here, our nicotine is contaminated with all kinds of shit. But if you go down to like Peru, they have a natural tobacco, which is called mapacho, and then you can pulverize it and then smoke it, and that's how God created it.
That's right.
This is how God created it. It was designed just for humans for different things. So, okay, so. Here is a good question that I had pulled up because I haven't had it happen to me, but I think I kind of did it to somebody, not really on purpose. Have you guys ever been ghosted?
Again, I'm new to the dating thing. I guess you could call it ghosted. We went on a second date, and I didn't want to come back to his home.
How dare you, Brandy?
Right? And I
Did he buy dinner?
He did.
Well, Brandy, come on. You're supposed to go back and give him a hug at least.
I
First
gave
base?
The hug. I gave the hug at the restaurant,
First base,
but
second
I was
base?
out. No, I am not that girl.
Good for you,
and
sister. Good
so
for you.
I hadn't heard from him since. Which is totally
All right.
fine. If that's how I gotta weed them out, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly right. Okay, let me get this
So that's
right.
I have again, this is kind of like my first. I've been on 3 dates.
Yeah, but he saved you
He did.
because that's just like he's saving you time.
I approached this whole situation learning experiences. So learn from each one of them. Whether
Yeah.
it's if they're not for me, how do I tell them that? If they're, you know what I mean? How do
Yeah, I see.
We're talking about
Sure.
ghosting. I
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah,
ghost
yeah.
someone. I wouldn't want someone to do it to me.
Right.
So how do I say how do I do that?
Sure.
Younger people, how do I tell them? Yeah, not going to happen, not going to work. You know what I mean? You're too young. Like, you know, I don't want.
Direct is good.
Yes.
Direct communication is good.
Very
it's
true.
like, hey, man, I'm not going back home with you.
That's all learning because most of the people, like, again, I've only been here 4 years and I moved here. I was in a relationship. So dating in a area I'm not familiar with, you know, like I was back home, you knew everyone. You know what I mean? So 9 times out of 10, whoever you dated, you've known them or you know their family. So it's different, you know. Where here, I don't. And so I have to learn from every situation and every encounter or whatever I do. To me, I approach it as it's a learning experience. And I got to learn from it. And either that's the one, and then if it's not, what am I getting out of it? It's my stepping stone.
And that gosh darn guy, he did you a favor, though. He was like, hey, man, I'm going to take Brandy for some chicken wings, and I'm going to take her back to my house. But come on, man, get it together, dude.
2 dates. Come on. That was enough, right? Come back to my house.
2 dates, and he's like, come back to my house. That is bananas. That's crazy.
That's my ghosting, so I haven't heard. And then I think the other is went out to lunch date, and it was great. But like that's all we've done is just like we've gone out to lunch and then we've texted randomly a couple times throughout the week for weeks now. But that's it. So that's weird to me. So now my learning experience is what do I do here?
Let's dissect it. Let's go into this a little bit. So you're saying that you've got a dude who's been texting you off and on for the last how long?
Oh, probably a good month, 4 weeks.
4 weeks or so, and you're not sure where it's going.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that I know either. I still feel like I'm learning and getting to know them. Don't get me wrong. I think he's great. Got a great job. He's a great father. But we've only been to lunch.
Sure. Well, okay, so are you physically attracted to him? Nope. That's it. It's over. It's over.
Oh, yeah, we don't.
It's over. And, but the thing is, like, that's the thing, because you have to be attracted to your person.
Right.
You
but
can't force it.
I mean, I feel like she is.
No, she's not.
Are you not?
No. You saw that. So here's the thing, though. Your body will tell you, but your mind will try to change it. Her body's already told her, I'm not attracted. I'm not attracted to him. There's something that my body is like, But mentally, you're like, okay, I'm lonely. He's got a good job.
That's what it is.
He's nice.
Yeah.
He's a great dad.
Yeah, he's a great dad. I bet you he's a great kisser. And oh my God, he's going to be amazing. Yeah. He's probably Spanish or something too. I don't know. But I'm just saying, those things happen.
Her to lunch. I mean, it might be the same on his.
It's true.
You know, I mean,
very true.
Men, they want something, and women, they want something. They go for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we go for it, right? Like we send that extra text. We make that extra phone call. We throw out like an invitation out there. Hey, you know, what about Friday? Yeah.
I don't know. I guess not me. Man.
If you're not interested in a woman,
I'll be honest with you.
Not like blindly, you know, like if you're
like if I'm interested.
Like if you went out for lunch with her and you really like her, don't you want to pursue that? Like you let it die? I don't think so.
I agree with you. You're 100% correct. The challenge is overcoming that is where like I have, since I've been single or divorced, I haven't met that person where I'm just like,
there you go.
Right? I haven't met that person. So I'm just like,
But when you
don't look at me.
Something, it's like you're naturally attracted to them. You want to be with them. You want to be near them. You want to be involved in their life. You want them to check in. You're like, you know, you message them every morning. Good morning. Beautiful.
Right. I want to do burpees with them.
That's right.
That's what I want to do.
Put them through a workout.
Handstand push-ups.
That's right.
I did those yesterday.
Did you know? I just did my first one the other day. For instance, my bicep tour. Yeah, that and pull-ups I've just done recently for the first time.
Good
so dude, I'm so excited about it. It's just small things that you get excited about. It's like when she came over, I showed her the gym and she was just like pulling up. I'm just like, oh my God, no one's ever really done that.
Well, because it's cool because his rig is taller. I just saw mine and mine was shorter and I couldn't like.
And I'm the total opposite. I need the short ones.
Yeah, no, I like being. I like to be hanging, so I was excited to see his rig over there.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely good stuff. Okay, so let me see here. What question would you guys like to ask a dude or just guys in general so people can comment and like, hey, this is from a dude, and this is a question I have from a ladies, this is from a guy's perspective. any questions at all, what would you guys like to know about dudes? Red flags, green flags?
I think honestly, because me, when I'm, out and about or whatever, and I see someone, how do they want to be? Do they want to be approached? How do they want to be approached?
Ooh, good one.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Okay, you do or don't have a wedding ring on is going to be my first glance because that's, morally right,
Sure.
But a lot of guys don't wear rings anymore, so you don't know.
Really? Is that true?
It is.
I never understood that. If you're married, if I was married, I'd wear my ring.
I didn't realize this until recently.
No kidding.
And just being at my friends' children's sporting events, I like to go and watch. I call them my gym kids, my little gym family. And I'm like, oh, he does. Who's he? And like, oh, that's so and so's husband. Well, he doesn't have a ring on. So sorry, I asked. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that. I don't want to offend anyone. Obviously,
sure, of course.
But how do they want? Because I feel like they talk about not approaching women because women are like it freaks them out.
Yeah, you don't want to get me too'd.
Yeah,
you don't want to get me too'd.
Yeah, right. So, but vice versa with women too. Like, I don't want to approach someone's man.
Right.
I don't. That's not my intention. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know. I'm curious about that just for myself. Like I want to say hi. I love to talk to people. He's the same way.
Yeah.
I love talking to anyone.
Yeah.
And how do you approach it? Someone.
I think someone that's married though, if you're at the sporting events, they're a little bit more standoffish. That's what I find with the men that
got you.
That's a good point.
Okay.
So maybe because their son is there, the normal the men that are what should I say, that don't find that appropriate to talk to another woman while their woman is there or their kid is playing, right? They're not gonna sit there and chit chat and be flirty with you.
Yeah.
They're just gonna maybe keep it to like a normal conversation and then they're gonna go on, right? I haven't met any of my football dads that are flirting with me like ever, like in this 5 years of me, my son going to football.
Yeah, right.
I haven't had any dad hitting on me,
Right.
So I can tell pretty fast if someone is like winking or making like little jokes and sitting on me indirectly.
Okay.
Well, guys just check girls' butts out. That's what we do. Like maybe
But
that's
that's
what I do.
behind me. I don't know that they're looking.
That's just what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do every time somebody passes me. I'm gonna turn and look. Did they look at my butt?
Do you guys know when you're being hit on?
I feel.
Do you feel like you guys know when
yeah.
you're being hit on? Yeah. Do you guys get hit on a lot?
I feel so. I literally one day I had a guy. I was in shopping down in Gulf Breeze. It was at a little boutique. Was walking across the street to go back to my car. He literally stops in the middle of the road. And was like, "Hey, girl." And I was like, okay, here we go. And I was like,
Okay, here we go.
I was like, hey. And then so I'm walking. He's literally driving down just the main road to leave. And there's cars parked here. And I'm like, hey. And he was like, hey. He's like, can I get your number? And I was like, yeah, no.
Like that?
And he stops, gets out of his car.
No kidding.
He's like, come on, don't do this to me. You're going to hurt. You're going to crush me. He's like, please, can I have your number?
No
and
kidding.
I was like, no, I'm sorry. And so I'm dodging in and out of cars, not going to my car because I don't want him to know where my car is.
No
But I
kidding.
had someone literally stop in the middle of the road and be like,
wow,
girl, but you look so good. Please don't do this to me. And I was
I
like,
would not have given him my number.
Yeah,
Like,
that's pretty straight up.
I don't even entertain people like that. Like I am
believe
very
it.
straightforward.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Adina will just slap you if you.
I get really,
Don't look at me.
I get really mad. Like I get, obviously if he's rude or nice, whatever. I don't.
Right.
But usually I just get.
I don't like confrontation, so
yeah.
I just try to be like, okay, and just go about my day. But that was the most recent one that I was like, why can't
Brandy's like, no, I will not give you my number at all.
That's good for you.
You should have gave him a fake one.
Right.
Then you'd been good to go. He
So
just
that
left
would
you
have
alone.
been time wasted out of her schedule.
Right.
That's how I see it. Like my time is valuable.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
And I think I don't know about you guys, but I don't even want to entertain a relationship unless I'm fully into it. Nope, I'm not even going to entertain it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think it's because we're seasoned. I think we're at
Seasoned,
that
yeah.
age where, I get dating is kind of part of it, but I'm just, I don't want to
Yeah,
silly
dude.
stuff. I don't want the silly
Yeah.
stuff. Like if I'm in it, I'm in it. Like if I'm investing, I'm investing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the silly, I don't want to call it silly, isn't necessarily the best word.
It's okay.
But just like I don't want to just chit chat and send pictures and like I want a relationship. Like I want to find my person. I'm in this to find my person.
You want the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah. I'm not here to play games and pretend I don't see your text message.
For a guy, like the guy that you meet, like what are you looking for? Like that's a legit question. Like, do you want to just sleep around and meet women and go out and have fun, or do you want to find that person that you share the same values with and build a life
something
together, right?
Yeah, build something.
So that means that you're not gonna see all these other women. You're not gonna put yourself out on the market, right?
Right.
So you have to put in a little bit of work and not look at to see what's better out there.
Right. Yeah, and I think I think social media has, or just the apps in general, as people are like, oh, I'm curious.
Yeah.
What's out there?
Yeah.
And then they start opening those apps and like, wow, she's my age, she's available, he's available, and she's prettier than he's prettier or good looking, better looking than what I've got now. I might as well just swap.
Yeah.
Right? It's craziness. That's bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another question I was going to ask you guys is, what is the most awkward or funniest date that you guys have had so far in your young age?
I haven't had many yet, so I'm just starting. But let me think back to maybe a long time ago.
I don't know if I have any funny or awkward dates.
How about people approaching you, like guys approaching you? Besides the one thing you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. But is there anything else that's unusual, or
I've been hit on by a bride's dad. Does that count?
Oh my god! While you're doing photography?
When I was at my events, that's a thing. It happened a couple of times. Yeah,
that's good stuff.
I don't know. I don't have anyone. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, I don't have any stories like that either.
Gotcha. And then another question would be is, for men, what is your number one priority in looking for a man? Would it be health, wealth? Which one?
Health.
I would go with wealth, because if he's not financially stable and he's 45 or 50, then the whole thing just gets ruined. I'm not there to pay rent on my own and not be able to house. Like, I'm at an age that I want to have a future.
Sure. I feel like mine is, I've had the flip side coming out of the flip side. He was not healthy. He had he's financially stable.
Yeah.
Right.
But he didn't take care of himself.
Right.
And it was a lot.
But question, like, if he wasn't financially stable and he was also sick, which one would you have prioritized? Because that's a hard one. I mean, it is hard. One.
Yeah.
You want both of them, right?
Yeah.
You do.
But for me, I feel like if he's healthy and he's active but he has no money in his bank account, then it's a no. It's a no-go.
Yeah.
I have a son. I'm not young anymore. We're not in our teenage years or young years.
You want to retire comfortably?
I want to retire. Like, I'm very financially, I'm very entrepreneurial. You know me.
Yeah.
Like, my goal in life is to retire early and enjoy my life. I don't want to enjoy my life at 80 or 70.
Yeah. Right.
You know? So I want to have a partner that values the same things as I do and wants the same things.
But it's also healthy enough to be able to enjoy that with you.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, it's such a tough thing to like of course you want the whole package, you want all of it, of course, but you're not,
doesn't always work that way.
I saw a crazy stat. I listened to a crazy stat. Let me see if I can remember off the top of my head. Okay, there is a show, a podcast, and I think it's called whatever, but they had a question in terms of. Women were looking for men that were 6 feet tall, 6 figures, yada, yada, yada. They did the math. Somebody did the math. So it was less than 1%. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Because it was less than 1%. And then you have to consider some of that 1% is, are they fit?
Yeah.
Are they good looking? So they had the wealth.
But then they had...
Right. They had the wealth, but they didn't have all of those other things. So, just because they had that six figures, what if you're not attracted to them?
Yeah.
Right? And then what if they're not healthy?
Don't date them. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to kind of choose, right? I mean, if they're wealthy, yeah. If they don't work out, then it's okay. But if they're healthy and they're wealthy or financially stable, I should say, I wouldn't put the wealthy. I would put financially stable. They'd be able to pay their bills.
Sure.
Not default on their loans and cars and repos and stuff like that, right? Provide for their children and want to be in our family, then I would leave aside the fact that we don't go to the gym together and work out together, but he's healthy enough that he's open-minded, so we could go to walks, we could go hiking.
I definitely think healthy is, fit or healthy lifestyle isn't necessarily that they go to the gym 6 days a week or with me,
right?
But just that you are prioritizing your health.
Prioritizing your health,
and
you
are
healthy. Like I would never date someone again, that doesn't eat healthy, that doesn't work out,
100%,
and he's financially unstable and irresponsible. Like those for me,
and that's me. Like I want somebody that is, taking care of themselves, eating, understands my lifestyle, and is either
they see the value in going to the gym. They see the value in you taking care of your own health, and it's a physical and mental thing. It's like it's a mental thing
and
as well.
They support you doing that. They don't think.
And there's people out there, exactly, the support part, because there's men out there that you get into a relationship with you, and they get upset that you're going to the gym.
Right, that's crazy.
Right,
that is
or they
bananas.
make you feel guilty.
Or they'll shun you, you musclehead. Going to the gym, how dare you?
You're going to the gym. Why are we not going somewhere else right now? Or why are you, like, I was in relationships made me feel guilty for going to the gym.
I've been there.
Yep.
Been there, done that.
Yep.
It's terrible.
Which is bananas.
Yes.
It's just, that just goes to show you, I'm a big believer in the matrix. There's a matrix. You have people that just come, they do their work, they pay their taxes. They'll never ask any questions. And that's the matrix people. And you need those people.
Sure.
I don't want anyone in the matrix. I don't want anyone in the matrix. But here's the interesting about that one discussion in terms of the 1%. The point of that exercise of what the men or what the guy was trying to get across to the females across the room was that less than 1% of men in America made over 6 figures and were wealthy and educated. Less than 1%. And then out of that 1%,
they're all married.
How many are married? And then how many are good looking? How many are you attracted to? How do you know they're not a serial? I mean, all these other gosh darn things. So in other words, we've made this fairy tale marriage, this picket fence and Americans and blah, blah, blah. It's not real. No. It's not real. No. I don't believe it's real. I mean, marriages are they're a lot of work. They are what you put into it. Yep. And, I think, what is it? I saw the latest stat I saw, and who knows if these stats are right, but, was it half of marriages end up in divorce? 7 out of 10 marriages that are dissolved are initiated by the woman. 7 out of 10, which is a scary thought for men. Which is a very, very scary thought for guys. Which is why you're seeing now a lot the marriage, the time frame in terms of marriage has gone up significantly because men are afraid, I think, to get married because there is a financial
tied to that
burden tied with it. And let's just be honest, we all know it ain't for the men. It's never in the benefit of the men. I mean, it's just the way that the systems and the courts are designed. It's not a 50-50 thing. It's not an equal thing. It's just not. We like to believe that it is, but it's not.
Sure.
So there's all of that to deal with as well. And this great thing that we call dating. Oh my God. Yeah. So Adina, I don't want to put you on the spot, but would you get married again?
I'm planning to.
I'm
not against it.
Gotcha.
I'm actually welcoming it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Probably not right now, and not until I'm settled somewhere else. As you know, I don't want to be in Navarre forever.
Right. I think a lot of people say that. Like, do you like? I have people ask me that a lot. Yeah. Do you like your hair? Do you like your hair? You ever get that?
Yeah, and I do. Yeah. I'm the one that I do. I love it.
I think so. I think people get here and they have this this, grandiose, this is going to be like Miami, and they could hear this is like, it's just a beach. No, it's just a
Well,
bar.
I grew up in a big city, so I miss all those
And that's why,
things.
I'm sure.
That's
And
why I
I'm
want
vice
them.
opposite. I grew up in a small town, so
Yeah.
this is
And
a
then,
good fit.
while I was married, we were stationed in small little towns in Kodiak, Alaska, which is very remote. Like
Oh,
we
yeah,
live-
yeah,
yeah.
it is.
So I felt like life was drained out of me.
Sure.
And we came to Navarre because it was the best school system
Okay.
through COVID. So
Okay.
it kind of made sense for us. But this is not my retirement place for sure. I need
Yeah.
a little bit more.
Right? You need a little bit more in
And I'm
terms.
not really a beach person either.
Really?
So,
Okay.
yeah, I would rather
No
have the
kidding.
city and maybe some mountains and maybe the beach. But
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care about living by the beach.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. What about you, Brandy?
Oh,
Are
yeah, I
you
love a beach girl.
you're a beach girl? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
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 I love it. I'm not just crazy for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not my priority, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I went down and went swimming this morning down here
you?
for just like a minute. I took the girls down there with
Yeah.
me, but you know what's great, at least for now, is that I can go down there like at 7:00 at night and it's dark and I can get in. I can go skinny dipping because there's no one down there.
No one knows.
Maybe you'll find a mermaid.
That's right. Do what you want.
I'm looking for you, mermaid. Yeah. All right, so let's wrap it up with one last question. Do you believe in the term soulmates?
I do. I truly believe there is a soulmate for every person. It's just a matter of time to find him.
Is there
again,
multiple?
if you're open, I don't think it's no, I don't think it's more than one. I think it's just one true love that someone will have.
Okay.
Either if it's a small, short relationship or a long-term relationship, I think one person in our life shows up to be our true love. And it can work or cannot work, just kind of depends what destiny has in store for you.
Beautiful words of wisdom.
like
Good
that.
job, Dina.
Yeah.
So articulate.
Yes.
Very impressive. Go for it.
I do. I toggle with that. I mean, I do agree with you. And I think it's more of, it's just a phase in your life, like where you are in your life. Because it changes. Like you said, every 5 years or every, you're
Right.
growing and you're evolving. And not everyone does that at the same time, at the same pace or with you.
Yeah,
And you
for
may be
sure.
with that person. And so I feel like, I feel like I've had a soulmate. Absolutely. But I also feel like because we evolved into who we are, that changed.
Sure.
So your soulmate isn't just a one type of stereotypical thing because you change, you evolve, you change. And so I don't know. So I feel like, yes, I feel like that you have soulmates and there's someone out there for you.
right.
And to be blessed with a person that you can grow and change with. And they can see and appreciate that and grow with you, and you can continue that is the goal and is what you have to work for. Because again, I don't feel like it's something that we have it, and then you're just glued together for life. Like
Right.
it takes, like you said, work. So to have someone that sees and appreciates that and wants to do that with you and support you, and vice versa. I've said before, like I have a women's gym, and I hear all the time, women complain about their significant others a lot. And
No, they never complain.
right? And I'm okay to have that environment. Get it out, girlfriend. Get it out. And go home and love him.
Good job.
But
Good
that's
job.
the thing, though. Like we have to do our part as well. Like
Yeah,
we
man.
have to see them. We have to appreciate them. We have to communicate with them, and not just be like, "Well, this is what I want."
Yeah.
Well, there's work involved, and I'll let them do their venting. But I always make sure to be like, okay, but let's, appreciate, like think, let's
Yeah, dude.
get it out, but then let's reel it in, girl.
Yeah.
So
Good job,
I
Brandy. Good job. You're all over it, man.
try.
Yeah.
But no,
and you're
I am.
teaching. You're teaching them because you've got that experience. You've
Right,
been through it.
because I've been,
dude.
I'm not the perfect person at all. And
Well, you
yes,
have calluses
Yes,
on your hands,
absolutely.
so we know that.
absolutely, absolutely. And
Dina's gonna be all of us
literally-
look like, oh, my hands are full of calluses.
right here, literally. But so I mean, go back to the soulmate. Yes, I do believe in soulmates.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it may not necessarily be the one person forever. And there's someone that will always have my heart, that I am not with. And I had my first love, you know what I mean? Type of situation.
Yeah. And you'll always have love for them.
Yeah.
You'll always have that place in the heart for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. So,
well, a soulmate is someone who completes you, right? So a soulmate is someone that you want to be with. You're together, makes you laugh. You just feel that connection and attraction and energy together, and you want to be with. And
it stays.
And
we talked about the honeymoon phase,
Yeah.
or the three, the early stages where you feel like you have that person, but then they start to find out who they really are, and then it changes.
It's that 3 months. We were talking about it. It's the 3 months. That's the key. I'm telling you. So again, the mind, the ego, the shadow. The shadow is our worst part of us. Have you guys heard this term from Carl Jung? It's a Freudian thing. Not a Freudian, it's a philosophical, psychological thing. But basically what he says is that your mind is the ego and the super ego, and then it has the shadow. Every person has a shadow part of ourselves. And this is the part that's unfiltered, uncensored per se. So we might be a little impulsive and irrational. This is the part when you start to do the work, where you observe your mind and you realize, oh, this is my toxic trait. I need to integrate that so I can handle things appropriately, because we all have our forms of toxic traits and patterns. And this is the part of the shadow. So usually about the 3 months is when you start to see your real person. Just like you said, maybe he does drink every day.
Right.
I don't know what he does. Maybe he does this. Maybe he smokes cigarettes. Maybe he does drugs. Who knows?
Right.
But after about 3 months, then you get to see all of it. It's like, okay, I know what this dude's about or girl's about now. Yeah.
But it still gives you time, those 3 months. Like, you still feel the energy or not feel the energy. Like, you feel people that you're attracted to physically, but you don't necessarily have that energy that, kind of consumes you. Like, you want to be with them so badly, and they want to be with you so badly, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a different kind of dynamic in that relationship, and it doesn't come into your life very often. That's the thing.
No, I agree with that.
Like, you have people that you're attracted with and you think you want to be with, but it's not.
You
the
don't
same
crave
as,
that.
You don't have that energy. Like, it's energy. It's all energy.
Right. Yeah.
That you share with. So that's unique, and that's not that's kind of singular for every person.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, and energy doesn't lie. The vibe does not lie, man. You can feel it. Like, there's something wrong with this person, man.
You feel it in your vibration when you laugh together. You feel in your vibration when you're sitting on the couch together, just in silence.
Right.
Like, it's just a different kind of thing.
You're right.
Yeah,
That's true.
And your person's got to give you goosebumps.
It's true.
Got to give you goosebumps.
Yep.
Butterflies and butterflies.
I was say those butterflies.
Yeah, and and again, it's dips and valleys. You're going to have to work and massage and nurture it, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I heard one of my good friends said she was with her partner for quite some time, and she had said that she knew from the very beginning they were always meant to say goodbye, and I was just like, oh.
I feel I feel like that was some. I felt like that was some of the people in my life. Like, I knew that I wasn't gonna be together.
Right.
Like with Max, for example, my ex-boyfriend. I knew deep down that he and I were not going to have a future together. It was instinctual. I was just in that relationship because it was a lot of emotional involvement, living together and all the stuff, But I knew that it was gonna come to an end sooner or later. So
the body tells you. The body lets you know, man. The body, and this is something that I had to learn in the last 3 years is knowing your body. Your body will fucking tell you.
Yes, it will.
It will tell you when something's right, and it will tell you when something's wrong. And usually 99.9% of the time, it is right.
You just have to be in tune and try to recognize it, like make an effort. Because if you're not, and you're not exposed to, or you don't have the right people around you, or not listening to the right stuff, I don't know, like, you might miss it, right?
Sure.
But I feel like, after a certain age, or we're more mature right now, we know what we want. It's a different type of mentality that we have.
Yeah.
So
And then one last parting shot. I wanted to bring this up because I think it's a big piece of relationships, because I think it's where most people struggle: control. control. All about control. Like, hey, where are you?
Yeah.
You know, why are you stopping at Publix, you know, at 7 p.m. or whatever it is? But, you know, you have to accept your partner. When you do find a partner, you got to accept that person for where they're at and what they're into, and you can't change them.
Right.
So if you know that you're adamant about, hey, I don't want anyone who does drugs. I don't want somebody who does nicotine. I don't want to, then you can't. And if you find someone and you're attracted to them and they've got this, and this, but they do that, don't start that relationship.
Yep.
If your boundaries are already up, don't start that relationship with that person, because you're just wasting your time. Because I feel like what happens in relationships where we try to mold this person into what we want them to be.
They have that potential.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
you know, I'm gonna get them to stop drinking every night, or whatever their vices.
But it's not even like vices. It's like small things that I've experienced.
Let's hear it.
Okay, I'll give an example. I do hope that Bill's not gonna like this.
No one knows who Bill is. Bill Cosby, ladies and gentlemen,
I feel like
allegedly.
some people
Allegedly.
come into your life and they want to change who you are, right?
Right.
Like from the bat. That's because their previous girlfriends allowed them to do that to them.
Yep.
So maybe because they were too young, maybe because they were inexperienced, maybe because men were controlling enough and women were more submissive.
Boom.
I'm Romanian. I will never be submissive. Not in that way. I can be submissive in some ways on my own accord, but not like in life and my life choices.
Yeah.
So when I got Evie, my dog, I kind of asked, I said, I found a picture of her on Facebook. And I go to my boyfriend, it's like, look how this beautiful, you know, I think I'm thinking to get her. And he's like, babe, you know, no. I'm like,
He
I
said
am
no.
not asking for permission.
I'm just saying it's
I'm just
cute,
telling
right?
you that I'm planning on getting her. So
And then
he backed
that,
off.
Gotcha. Well, good for you, though. I mean,
Yeah, no,
I agree.
Like this, no, like my life, we don't live together. We don't share finances together. We're
Right.
not at that point. And that was at the
Yeah.
beginning of this year, but still kind of early in a relationship to dictate what, you know.
Sure. Can you
Someone.
do?
Yeah.
Like, hey, brother, you're not paying my bills. What are you
Right.
talking
Exactly. Yeah, you're not paying my bills, so you have no say.
Yeah, I just met you. You're telling me I can't get a dog?
That's
What's your
right.
problem?
Yes. So that's a control thing. That was a control
For
thing.
sure.
And
Yeah.
it's a no-go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of the biggest things, and we all do it. You know, men, women, we all do it because it's almost like in our natural instinct, because we want them to live a better life. So I want you to work out, or I want you to do X, Y, Z, because it's going to be better for you. And then when they don't, resentment builds, right? Where that resentment will slowly build. Well, he's not doing this or she's not doing that, and the next thing you know, it just keeps
Well, I
tumbling
think
up.
when you stand up for yourself, it builds respect, right?
Absolutely.
Like your partner will respect you more
Yeah.
than if you're being so submissive and you fall on the ground at his feet and say, yes, yes, my lord.
Right.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like and it has to be a certain type of personality. Like Sorok Alpha personalities will do that. Some women will not do that. Some will, you know, someone else would have said, okay, maybe that's not a good idea, you know?
Right.
and Do his bidding.
Well, I think when you've done so much work on yourself and you see the value in you, and you know the term that people use, well, high value. I'm sure you guys have heard that, high value woman, high value man. When you reach that pinnacle, whatever that means for you, you're not willing to put up with bullshit. You're just like, no, I'm not putting up with this. I'm not, you know, you know what? There's the door. I'm out. I don't need to check in with you. I don't need to do this. I don't need to clarify this. You're not paying my bills. Anything. I mean, that's just, it's that control aspect that, you know, I think that a lot of us struggle with, is that control piece for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of women that are controlling. I feel like there might be more men that are. I don't know. I don't know if it's a 50-50.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is 50-50. I mean, men are pretty, I had a good friend tell me this, who happened to be a woman, by the way, and I think she's right. Men are like dogs. They're simple. Men are so simple. Women are like cats. They're not so simple. They're very complex creatures. There's a lot under there.
Sure.
For men, be loyal, be respectful, be happy, don't nag at them. You're good.
I identify myself with a dragon because they're rebellious.
Yeah. Oh, you're rebellious. Oh, I believe it. Yeah, you've got that. You've got that. That Romanian spirit. You'd be like, "Hey, babe, can you put this in the dishwasher? Don't tell me what to do." Okay, I'm sorry. I'll text it to you later. Maybe.
No, I'm very good in a relationship. I just don't like someone controlling what I do and tell me to do things. Especially if I'm like the cook in the house and the
they're telling you how to cook.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like I am set in my own ways.
Yeah.
And someone else coming and trying to demolish what I've built.
Right.
You're like, I've been doing this for 44 years. Sit down, dude. Oh, that's awesome. All right, ladies. Well, thank you very much for a good, friendly, casual conversation about dating. Fun. Yeah, we'll have to do it again. We'll do it maybe like once Brandy hooks up, and then we'll come and talk about her boyfriend. So
Can we talk about health?
All right,
for
ladies.
The next one?
Yeah, health is coming.
For sure.
Actually, you two would be great for health.
Yeah,
we could actually do that.
Yep.
Yeah, we could do that. We could totally do that. I have another one coming up here. But yeah, we'll get it on the schedule for sure. Yeah. I owe Brandy a lot, so she's a lifesaver. I mean, her and I have only met like about a month ago. I think maybe a couple months.
Okay.
But it just seems so natural. We're just good friends already. Yeah.
Yes.
You know good people when you know good people, man. It's like, I know you have a good heart and you can feel it. And because the heart radiates, it's a frequency.
It's all about that energy that we were talking about.
Energy, man. Yep. Hey, I learned all this in the hippie stuff I've been doing the last 3 years. I learned about energy, chakras, psychedelics, you name it. I got it all down now. Yes. But anyways, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All righty.
It was fun.